What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Padawan Podcast, Apocalypse Movies, all Star Wars podcast, where we geek out from everything in the galaxy far, far away. I'm your host, Jake Berlin, a.k.a. Qui Gonn Jake, and I'm joined today by my fellow table members. That's right, members. We have both of them back today. First up, Jacob Bartley, a.k.a. Grandma Bartley. How's it going, dude?
It's going fantastic. Yeah, I just finished Ahsoka last night on my way back from Doctor Strange.
We'll be getting to that a little bit later.
And yeah, so Star Wars is on my mind for sure.
Yeah, we'll be getting to the little Ahsoka novel a little bit later on. And also back for the first time in quite a while, Gio Ramos, a.k.a. C3Gio. How's it going, my bud?
Hey, what's up, guys? Man, I've been watching The Force Awakens because it's on Stars like every day. So I'm flipping through it, and then I happen to catch it during different times of the movie. So
nice,
it's pretty cool.
Well, we'll be getting a little bit of Force Awakens as well later on in the show, but we're gonna kick it off with some Rogue One stuff. A bunch to talk about today. First up, a little bit of Rogue One. So there's no doubt that we've been enjoying the hell out of all the footage and special extras that have been released for Rogue One as of late. And it's crazy to think it's just a little bit over a month away. But we all still have one question: when do tickets go on sale? Well, it isn't as big. Last year saw The Force Awakens go on sale in October. So when is the question? We may finally have the answer. While promoting a VIP event, the local San Diego newspaper, the Seaside Courier, may have revealed that tickets will go on sale to the public online on November 7th. It is yet to be confirmed by Disney or Lucasfilm, but this is the first real evidence of any kind regarding the Rogue One tickets. So Jacob, what do you think about the new revelation on the tickets, and how many do you plan on getting?
Well, I just really want our tickets already. I want to know that we're going for sure. I'm sure we'll get our tickets. You're always really good about that.
Yeah.
And that all depends on you, man. I'm just taking myself, so...
No special guests or anything?
What? No.
Maybe.
No, nobody. I mean, if anything, one of my brothers would go, but it'll probably just be me. So depending on how many tickets you buy, I mean,
cool.
We might end up buying, 10 as a group?
Well, we went to 10 last year, we have near that this year so far.
Yeah, I'll let you know before then if I have a +1. But yeah, just come on, put the tickets on sale already.
Yeah, Gio?
Well, it's good to know that the tickets are coming out soon and not like the first week of December. Yeah. Because that would create... Actually, that might not even be a bad idea. That would create even more of a frenzy, you know? But I think right now, the trailer just came out. You know, the hype is higher than it's ever been. So it's a good time to release the tickets, you know? Last year, you guys remember with the Monday Night Football?
It crashed.
Right after that.
You and I were online for like 4 or 5 hours.
Right after that. Yeah, the tickets.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Rogue One, I don't think it'll be that big, understandably so, because it's, you know, I mean, it's...
There won't be a show every 2 hours in every single theater like there was in The Force Awakens.
I think there will be, actually.
You think so? That kind of hype?
I mean, that would be great.
I just don't think... Yeah, it's... The only reason it's not going to have that big of a hype because we have so long before we had a Star Wars movie, you know?
Right. So, I'm excited. Jake here is our resident ticket master guy. He gets all the tickets, and we...
Nice pun.
And we pay him a year later.
When we feel like it.
Yeah, when we feel like it. Yeah. So, I'm excited, man. Let's get these tickets. Let's go. And let's go see Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, man. Like I told you last night, I've been keeping my eye on the site just every day, looking to when these things are going online, and just because I know they're going to be sold out and there's multiple showings, and I want to make sure we get front, back center seats or whatever it is, and like we always do. So, because there's only one IMAX theater in our area, at least, we have to drive quite a while for the next one. So
I think last year we got like 2 separate sets of tickets.
Yeah, you had 4 and I had 6.
Yeah,
6.
We were separated, but I mean, it was a good time. There were 10 of us went to dinner before. So that was
say
good.
we do that again.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars, so why
Bring
not?
It's a tradition.
Earplugs, so you don't get spoiled like at the restaurant.
Oh, I know. Oh, I'm bringing my headphones. Yeah.
All right, well, moving on. While the cast of Rogue One has been pretty open to talking about the film, director Gareth Edwards has, for the most part, stayed quiet until now. While speaking with USA Today in anticipation for Rogue One, the director said the following about his Star Wars spinoff. Events take place that just shatter her life and send her off to basically be raised as a soldier in the midst of war, talking about Jyn Erso. She ends up not the person she was supposed to be. Even though we're not telling the story of Luke Skywalker, it was important for me, or to me, that we capture the same themes and emotion. But the film doesn't unfold how you think. It's not the same path as Star Wars. So Gio, we've seen the Rogue One looks and feels, what it looks like and feels like so far. First, do you like the comments? And 2, do they match up with what we've seen?
I do, and yes, they do match up. We see a little bit of that in the trailer early on, this most recent trailer, where the Imperials are in the field, and the father, and then boom, cuts to her. Like, is she already like taken in prison by the?
I think she's in prison when she's a young girl. Yeah,
not the First Order, the Empire. Yeah, so we already see those. What he's talking about, Gareth Edwards. And it's good to know that, things will not unfold the way we think it is. Because here we are, we're all Star Wars fans, we're all smart asses. We're like, yeah, we know what happens. Yeah, the Death Star, the plan's going to get stolen. The film's going to end with Leia. It's like we've already seen the movie. Everyone's already, saying how it's going to end, this and that. But it's good to know that, pump your brakes, all right? This may not go the way you think it is, A lot of people aren't. I think it's safe to say a lot of people aren't going to make it out of Rogue One, and I'd be okay with that. But it's more about who.
Yeah, that's the question for sure. I think going in, we knew that this was pretty much a suicide mission for everyone.
Yeah. Just
because we've never seen any of the characters before, minus a few. I like his comments, and I do think they match up with what we've seen, and I think that he has a very good approach going forward with the Rogue One as far as when it was filmed, pre-production, all that stuff. It looks like he wants to make something very different from the normal Star Wars, and from the trailers, it looks like we're getting exactly that. And I like his comments about Jyn Erso as well. The latest trailer, like you said, does give off that vibe that she's in a place where she wasn't planning on being. The abduction of her father, or the capturing of her father, kind of took her away from what kind of life she was supposed to have. So. It's going to be very interesting going forward to seeing how it plays out. What's even more interesting to me is, a while ago there was a rumor going around that Rogue One actually ends 10 minutes before the events of A New Hope.
Yeah, I heard that too.
So kind of him saying that it's not going to unfold how you think, it's not the same path and everything, that kind of contradicts. So they're definitely making us think and leaving us questions to answer, and that's what's most exciting about it. We don't know what's going to happen, because we've never... in the books or comics or anything, Rogue One, this is all brand new territory. So that's what is so exciting. So, Jacob, what do you think about the comments, man? Do you like them? Do you hate them? Or?
I mean, I like them. I like what he said, that it's not about Luke Skywalker, but it was important to me that we capture the same themes and emotions. And it makes sense because it's about a daughter and her father. And, the first Star Wars trilogy is about a son and father, so it's all about family. And even if it's like an Anakin and Obi-Wan connection, it's like family. It's family, they're brothers. It's about people you're close to and which side they end up on, the good or the evil. And maybe it's not so clear which side they are on. And I think that's a common theme in the Star Wars universe, and I think that's what's going to happen with Jyn Erso and her father. Like, he's working for the Empire, but is he bad? No, he's kind of being forced to do it. And I'm interested because we see flashbacks of Jyn Erso as a young girl. Like, do we figure out like what her life was supposed to be like prior to her being thrown into this war? And because it says she didn't become who she was supposed to be. And then as far as it not going the same path as Star Wars, I don't think it's talking about how, like, I think it's still going to play out how we think. Like, the rebels are going to steal the Death Star plans and get them to Leia.
Yeah.
But I think in the sense where pretty much in every Star Wars movie, like, I don't want to say the heroes win every Star Wars movie, but they make it out alive every Star Wars movie for the most part. I think they mean shit's going down, bad stuff's going to happen. I wouldn't be surprised if all of these characters die at the end of this film, because if not, where are they? We don't. Why aren't they a part of the rebellion? Where are they in A New Hope when the rebels are obviously still at war, going to fight the Empire? Where's Jyn Erso? So that's a huge question, and we're probably going to get the answer, and we could probably assume what that is. So,
all right. Well, moving on to a little bit of crawl news. One of the biggest things that hasn't been talked about as of late regarding the first ever Star Wars spinoff is whether or not it will continue the Star Wars tradition of an opening crawl. Earlier this summer, Lucasfilm head Kathleen Kennedy said that her and director Gareth Edwards were continuing to talk about it, and that although it's still Star Wars, they did want to separate it from the saga films. Fast forward to now, and it looks like Rogue One won't be a regular Star Wars movie. According to StarWarsNet.com, a source of theirs that they find extremely credible and has broken scoops before revealed to them that Rogue One will open in a way different from the classic Star Wars films. As to what that is, that's still a mystery, but it doesn't look like we'll have any text to read before its opening next month. Jacob, will you be bummed we won't be seeing an opening crawl next month?
I will be very upset. I was going to use a different set of words, but I'll, be family friendly here. We are talking about Star Wars, so I'll be very upset. I understand where they probably wanted, distinguish it from the episodic movies, but it's Star Wars, man. How are we going to watch a Star Wars movie without a crawl at the beginning? I don't understand. And it's perfect as like a film making tool because you get to set up the landscape of what's happening prior to the movie, and the audience doesn't have to catch up by hints through the dialogue. They already know where you're at once the movie starts. So I don't understand why they're not doing it. I kind of understand why they wouldn't, but ultimately if they don't do it, it would boggle my mind and I would not be okay with it. But I'm not going to complain either way.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't mind that they wouldn't do a crawl, but I want it because I'm so interested to see where the rebellion and the Empire is when the film starts. Mm-hmm. Because the last time we saw, the earliest point in time was Revenge of the Sith, and we saw where that ended. The Empire was, coming to the forefront, and then obviously fast forward to A New Hope, and the Empire's they're the top dogs in the galaxy.
The closest thing we have is Rebels.
Yes, right now. That's right. Yes,
period
the TV
wise,
show.
is the closest thing to
Yeah.
Rogue One.
And I want to see that in film version. I want to see,
Yeah.
And, I think that an opening crawl, like you said, it's a great tool to use to see where we are and what's going on and kind of introduce us and get us going. But at the same time, I wouldn't mind just so it does separate itself, because I think they are trying very hard to separate itself from the saga films. Keep it Star Wars at the same time, but just make sure people know this isn't a Skywalker story. This isn't Rey and Kylo Ren and Vader's in it, but no, none of that stuff. So it'll be interesting to see. Maybe people will be a little bit outraged going forward if film opens and there is no crawl. I mean, people are probably going to yell and scream at the film. So
they walk out.
Yeah, boo it. I mean that.
It's interesting.
Crazy.
Even though this isn't a Skywalker story, every Star Wars movie has a Skywalker in it.
Vader's in it.
Even Rogue One.
Yep.
Gio.
I mean, there's potential here. It depends on how they open the movie. I'm imagining something along the lines of Saving Private Ryan, where you see these rebel soldiers, they're pulling up on the beach and everything, and then next thing you know, they're getting blasted and all that stuff. That would be quite an opening. But at the same time, Star Wars is known for its crawls. Giving exposition in the beginning, so you don't have to give as much in the movie. So I share the same concerns you guys have about how will audiences take this? How will I take this? Will it feel like Star Wars? And we've heard the director say this will be the most different Star Wars movie than anything we've seen in the past. So this is just yet another way of them making that difference. So we'll see.
Yeah, it'd definitely be interesting once Rogue One comes out next month. So, all right, well, moving on to our lone Force Awakens news for the show. We've talked about the upcoming 3D Blu-ray release for the film and the added special extras it will feature. Well, a Tumblr account named Mummies and Lightsabers got their hands on the 3D release early, and while on the topic of the commentary that will be featured on the release, the account caught a little comment from director J.J. Abrams. While on the scene of Kylo Ren hunting down Rey near Maz Kanata's castle, Abrams said the following: "One of the new relationships that we were focusing on was between Kylo Ren and Rey. They've never met before. They've never met, but he's heard of this girl." So I'll take this one to start. Obviously, it's going to raise a bunch of questions once the commentary officially comes out. We've speculated and debated over and over again as to who Rey is, and that's actually our next topic as well. But it's interesting if Kylo Ren didn't know her before. Obviously, a lot of people think that he does just because of relationships and who she is. If JJ says they have never met before, maybe she isn't who we think she is, or maybe they just haven't met even though they are family. So it raises questions going into episode 8, obviously. And if they do end up being related, why haven't they met before? That's the next question that comes about. So, Gio, what do you think about the comment?
I'm trying to find a way where this helps my argument for Rey and Finn, but I can't find one. Anyways, look, does this really help? Us figuring out, Rey and who she is and who Kylo Ren is to is to her, because I tried saying, okay, well this confirms that that they're not related in any way. But how many times in movies have families reunited for the first time ever? But then again, I don't know, because they've never met, which means Kylo Ren could not have force wiped Rey's memory, because obviously he would know the little girl. But I don't know. It makes it more confusing.
It's a contradicting statement.
Yeah, it's more confusing, and it makes me upset even more because Episode 8 is like 13 months away. So, and that movie might not even tell us. So, who knows?
Yeah, I'm confused because in The Force Awakens, he knows about her before she even starts being a problem for them.
Well, he says what
girl?
Yeah.
And he says they stole the ship. The droid stole the freighter. And it's like, oh, they had help with the girl, or they were with a girl. He's like, what girl? And he brings him to his hand. So I always wondered, how does he know who she is? Why has he heard about her before she's even mentioned to them? Mm-hmm. Does he know that there's a Force sensitive girl out there somewhere? And if so, if he knew and he knew she was on Jakku, why didn't he go find her and kill her? Because they obviously hunt down them or turn them, So it's really confusing to me. I was under the assumption, my guess was that they were both together at Luke's academy or whatever. But it's not looking like that's the case. If they're saying, unless he's pulling a fast one on us, but I doubt that. Why would they say they've never met before if they haven't? So yeah, I'm just confused at this. I hope they explain it, but they probably won't. Star Wars is so vague sometimes. So who knows?
Yeah, it raises a ton more questions going into Episode 8. So, all right, we'll stick a little bit of Rey's parents. Obviously, when we talk about The Force Awakens and what we want to see in Episode 8, the top of the list is who Rey's parents are. We talked about it over and over again, debating and speculating left and right, but it sounds like we will get an answer next year. While speaking of Vulture, Daisy Ridley was asked about Rey's lineage with the following question. Another possibility is that Rey is related to Obi-Wan Kenobi. This theory is supported by her Kenobi-like costume, dexterity with Jedi mind tricks, and love of solitude. What does she think about that? Ridley stayed pretty quiet on the subject by saying, "We will see in a year. Just sit tight on that question." So she doesn't reveal much as to who her parents are, but does pretty much guarantee that Episode 8 will feature who Rey's parents are, kind of in a very vague way. Maybe Rian Johnson has a little bit of tricks up his sleeves as far as Episode 8 goes. So Jacob, I want to shoot to you first. What first comes to mind when you hear these comments and her reaction?
So, all right, her reaction, and it could totally be no matter what they say, she would have said this. Mm-hmm. We'll see in a year. Just sit tight on that question. It could have been, is she related to Qui Gonn? Is she related to Luke? Is she related to anyone? And she could have said, we'll see in a year. Just sit tight on that question. So I don't think that hints towards her being Kenobi related. But that has been one of my top choices. I've gone away from her being a Skywalker, which I'm totally fine with because we have Kylo. And it kind of sucks that he's probably either going to die or stay evil, just stay evil or die. And so that would mean that's where the Skywalker lineage ends unless he has an offspring, which is probably not ever going to happen. So him and Rey, Kenobi and Skywalker.
Oh God.
Hell no.
Yeah, that's mine. That's my Finn and Rey.
Kylo and
that would be
Rey
a disaster.
Oh my God.
No, but this is actually my number, as far as my wants, this is my number one choice. I want her to be a Kenobi because are we never going to have another Kenobi in the Star Wars universe? That would be awesome. Rey Kenobi, that would be sick. And I would be so happy with that because Obi-Wan's my favorite character. So I don't think he would be her daughter. That would be too much, right?
Granddaughter.
Too close.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it makes sense because, look, Luke loved Ben Kenobi, especially he was so devastated when he passed away. That was his teacher, his first trainer, So if he found out somehow that there was a lineage of Kenobis, Kenobi,
he's gonna search them out.
Had a daughter or a son at one point, and they had a child, and maybe her parents were killed, and Luke found out there was a baby Kenobi out there. He would go to the ends of the galaxy to find them, and that would make sense. When he sees her, he's so shocked, and it would kind of be like a daughter to him if that was the case, even though it's not his direct daughter. So I think that makes the most sense. But as far as her comments, don't read too much into it. She would have said that no matter what they said.
She didn't reveal anything.
No, she didn't.
All she did was remind us that this movie's yet another year away, you know. Jesus Christ. But I'm with you, Jacob. I want to see her be a Kenobi. Like, you know, we already have Skywalkers and more Skywalkers to come. But Kenobi, you know, like, he's the one character throughout all the 6 movies that we generally, like everyone universally loves, you know.
And he's, like, the most morally... like grounded
Centered,
character, you know, like Anakin was like a douche in the prequels,
right?
So like,
yeah, and they're saying that Rey's fighting style with their lightsaber kind of mimics him a little bit, you know, so that's pretty interesting. And once again, I don't have any Rey Finn connection, so that's all I gotta say. What do you got next?
Yeah, it's interesting, you know. Obviously, she doesn't reveal anything, but the whole Kenobi thing is very interesting. I definitely would be excited if she was a Kenobi. I'm still, you know, I don't think it'll ever happen, but I'm still just closely holding on to the fact that she could be a Skywalker and Kenobi.
Oh, like, that's right. Yeah. Like, okay.
Like Luke found his daughter.
Okay.
And Rey is the offspring.
That would be amazing.
It'd be like, just think of how powerful
she is.
Yeah, so like I'm still like,
there we go.
I'm holding on to it.
That's the right answer.
I'm holding on to it, but I don't think it'll happen.
Like a Sky Nobi or a Ken Walker.
Sky Nobi's not bad. So, but
she would be a Skywalker.
Yeah, so I think that there is another Skywalker out there besides Kylo Ren. Whether or not that's Rey. Who knows? Maybe Kylo Ren has a sibling somewhere that we don't know about. That's a possibility. Because Han Solo's kids in the Legends, he has twins. So who knows? But it's going to be very interesting going forward, and I hope that Episode 8 reveals it. As far as just who her parents are, maybe not going to depth, but maybe just who she is. Kind of like they did with The Empire Strikes Back, and you know the whole "I'm your father" thing, and. So next year is going to be very interesting as far as Star Wars go. All right, well, moving on to little Han Solo. Last week saw the news that Donald Glover will be young Lando and Chris Miller and Phil Lord's Han Solo spinoff. Now this week we have a bit of details as what to expect from the duo of directors. During an interview with Collider in anticipation for Arrival, cinematographer Bradford Young talked about the upcoming Star Wars spinoff he'll be lending his hand to. On top of saying that although at first glance he and the directors are an odd pairing, they share the same ambition, as well as the following. These cats are subversive. Don't let it fool you. They are prepared to say exactly what they want to say. It's complex, it's layered, it's smart, it's visual, it's dramatic, it's funny, it's uneasy, it's unexpected. These cats are. I'm honored to have them on the list of directors I've worked with, that's for sure. So, Gio, Young is known for his more dramatic, heavy work. So what do you think of him pairing up with these two directors like Lord and Miller? And what are your thoughts on his comments about the type of film the duo is going for?
Oh, I think it's perfect. You know, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, we know that they have their own way of making films. It's always a collaborative effort with them too. They always see eye to eye. Mm-hmm. And when they bring in another guy like Bradford Young, it tells you that Bradford Young not only sees their vision, but understands the character, you know, of Han Solo and I guess Lando. Mm-hmm. We know he's going to be in the film, whatever extent is. Who knows? So, and what was your other question about what kind of film they're going to go for?
Yeah, what do you think about like the kind of film, you know, it's smart, visual, dramatic, complex, as far as like a Han Solo film?
That's pretty much what the Jump Street movies were. You
Yeah.
know, they were smart, they were self-aware, you know, complex with their relationships.
The drama one's interesting.
The drama, yeah, exactly.
That's interesting.
Well, yeah, because I mean, you know, you're going to have sort of the origins of Chewie and Han, you know, and Lando, you know, and I'm pretty sure Lando and Han, they bumped heads when they were younger. You know, when you're young, you're, you know, a little more stubborn, you know, this and that. You're not as wise, but that kind of builds the friendship even more, you know, to where we meet them in episode 5. So I'm looking forward to all that. And yeah, I mean, if Lord and Miller have faith in this guy, then bring him on board. I ain't got no problem with that.
Young, you know, as far as the cinematographer goes, it seems like in every project he kind of has a hand in other things as well. I mean, he worked with Ava DuVernay on Selma. Mm-hmm. He did Arrival with Denis Villeneuve. So I like his comments a lot. I think that it's very interesting when you think of Lord and Miller, you think of the Jump Street franchise and the Lego movie. You don't think of complex and dramatic. You think of layered, smart, and funny, but not those other two. And so, I can just, if this is true, and I believe it to be, Lucasfilm, they grabbed a couple of great directors as far as Han Solo goes, and they seem like they're the perfect fit for this type of movie. And going forward, Han Solo might be one of the most exciting Star Wars movies we've had in a long time. So, Jacob, what do you think about the comments?
Yeah, I have nothing bad to say about them. They're awesome. We've heard a lot about Phil Lord and Chris Miller, and we know that through their movies that they got to be fun guys.
Yeah.
Look at like the Lego movie and the Jump Street films. Like they probably have a sense of humor, but you can tell they put a lot of thought into what they do. It doesn't matter if it's a comedy or a kid's animated film. They put a lot of thought into it, and the Lego movie is actually really complex the way it has a lot of social commentary and stuff like that. So I trust them with this property, and they're obviously Star Wars fans. And hearing this from, we don't really hear the cinematographers talk a lot. And I think looking at the way Arrival looks, and I'm not sure what else he's done.
Selma, and there was one other big one they did with the director.
Yeah, so just looking at the way Arrival looks, I think this is great for the Han Solo movie. Usually, like, a lot of people don't know who the cinematographer on a film is, but I think this is a good one for this movie, especially there's going to be a lot of space stuff involved and like a lot of new planets revealed. So I like it, and I like his comments. It's nothing but positive to hear the cinematographer who's around these guys working with them on this movie, hear him say all these different layers that the Han Solo movie is going to have. So I really like the comments.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's going to wrap up our movie news for the show today. We're going to move on to a little bit of book stuff. Last show, Jacob had just finished up Bloodline. He gave us a last review of Bloodline. And in the 2 weeks since, he has finished Ahsoka Tano.
Wow, 2 weeks. Yeah, I finished it.
Ahsoka Tano, young adult novel. He's going to go on a little bit of a review. He will give a spoilers warning if he gets into anything, and we'll put it up on the show as well so you can see that visually. But Jacob, go ahead and take it away, man. What did you think of Ahsoka Tano?
All right, so I will say the Ahsoka book is really short compared to like Bloodline. It was like probably a third less of what Bloodline was. And I will kind of get into some minor little details that could be considered spoilers, but I'm not going to give any major plot points away. So we will put that spoilers banner up about now. So Ahsoka Tano, most of you Star Wars fans know her as Anakin Skywalker's Padawan. And this takes place, if you know your Star Wars history, this novel takes place a year after Order 66, where the Emperor set on for the clones to kill all the Jedis. And Ahsoka, if you watch Clone Wars, the TV show, you know Ahsoka was not present when that happened. Obviously, she wasn't in Revenge of the Sith. So she had left she had left by then, and so she's off doing her own thing. And then Order 66 happens, and she's basically in hiding. She's in hiding. She has to hide on different planets and moons and stay away from the Empire. But she doesn't want to just seclude herself from any interactions with life. She wants to be able to be out there and help people because she has the Force and everything. So, minor spoiler. So she gets rid of her lightsabers. So throughout this whole book, she does not have her lightsabers. She eventually does pick up some lightsabers, but that would be a huge spoiler if I told you how and why.
Well, let me ask you this before are they the lightsabers in Rebels?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
that's all I care about.
They explain why they're white.
Sweet.
So, pretty much, I really liked this Ahsoka novel, especially because I'm a fan of the character and I'm a huge fan of Star Wars. If you're interested in diving into these audiobooks and you're a big Star Wars fan, I wouldn't say make this the first one you read. I would maybe do Bloodline, or I've heard Lords of the Sith is really good. That's going to be on my radar pretty soon. So maybe do one of those first. But if you're a huge Ahsoka fan and you love Ahsoka from the Clone Wars, from Rebels, why not start with this one? I do highly recommend it if you're a Star Wars fan. I like it a lot. I don't think it's nowhere as good as Bloodline in the way it's written. Like Bloodline is just like a damn near masterpiece to me. But this one is... The writing is back and forth. Sometimes it's really good. Sometimes it's just all right. The characters in Bloodline I can visualize every single character in my mind, and I grow attached to every character. They're fully developed. In Ahsoka, there were only like 3 or 4 characters that I could like kind of attach to outside of Ahsoka, but so the characters weren't written as strong. But the mission that Ahsoka is trying to accomplish and the things she has to do and the things she's going through and her thought process are really, really interesting. Now, and yeah, so I like the book, but the thing that really intrigued me is, I've told you guys about this, and this might tread on spoiler territory too, but so throughout the book, it dips off into certain flashbacks, and you get some flashbacks with Ahsoka. It actually starts with a flashback. You get these flashbacks that it dips into, and it doesn't only dip into Ahsoka flashbacks, it'll dip into a random flashback that is from the perspective of another character. So for example, you get an Anakin one, you get a Obi-Wan Kenobi one, you get a why am I forgetting his name? Leia's dad, Bail Organa. And Bail Organa is actually one of the main characters in the book. He's actually in the book. He comes into play like in the middle, and he has a prominent role like in the second half of the book. And you get all these seeds planted for what becomes the rebellion. And without giving away too much, let's just say Ahsoka has a huge part in developing the rebellion and what it becomes in Star Wars Rebels. And by the time we reach New Hope, Ahsoka plays a huge role in that. My only question is, where is she now? Like, okay, we know where the last time we see her is in Star Wars Rebels, so I'm just curious where she is now. And this book, it doesn't jump through too much of time. It happens within a matter of, a few months, I would say, maybe even not that long, maybe like a month or 2. So it's not like we get too much of Ahsoka, but you get a lot of background and a lot of what she's doing in those moments, and a lot of her thought process, her guilt from the past, and so on. So yeah, overall, if you're a huge Star Wars fan and you love Ahsoka, check it out. I do highly recommend it, and I liked it a lot. So do you guys have any questions?
No, I mean, Ahsoka is one of my favorite Star Wars characters, so I've been looking forward to reading it and hearing that you liked it a lot and everything going on as far as the lightsabers and flashbacks and stuff. I'm excited to read it, that's for sure, when I get a chance. So.
Yeah, one more thing I will mention, the action in this one is awesome. The parts where the Force are used and when the lightsabers come into play are amazing, and I could just visualize it in my head as it's happening. So that's another good thing about it.
Yeah, you're making me want to, listen to the
exactly.
Book. Yeah,
well,
you could say.
Listening is the way to go, because you get all the visual or the special effects in the background, the audio effects. I would say you get the lightsabers, the blasters, the music. It's like a score playing in the background. It's like you're listening to a movie. Is exactly what it's like. So I do highly recommend it.
Sweet. Well, that's our lone book review for the show. We're going to move on to our final part of the show, Address the Academy. A little bit of a different one today. We're not going to go into debating or discussing or speculating. I'm going to throw a question to the guys. Something that popped up on Twitter and Instagram for me. I just randomly came across it. I think it was funny. It's funny to talk about because it's actually a pretty tough question. And so the question is, would you rather have a decent sized role in episode 8 or go on a date with Daisy Ridley?
Wait, how did this come up?
I saw it on Instagram and Twitter. It was an image of it asking people, like just those random accounts. Yeah, I found it.
I know my answer right away.
Daisy Ridley?
Go on a date with Daisy Ridley.
Okay.
Is that date give you potential to keep dating her?
It depends on how well you do.
Exactly. Then absolutely go on a date with Daisy Ridley.
Gio?
I'm going to be a little greedy. I would rather have a decent role in episode 8 because I get my foot in the door. I get to work with Rian Johnson. I also get to hang out with Daisy Ridley. And and then that leads on to more roles in Hollywood, and then I get to meet more actresses and potentially date them. So, I'm going to go with a decent-sized role in episode 8.
I wouldn't mind being with Daisy Ridley for the rest of my life, so I'll just take the Daisy Ridley date and skip all that and just go straight to marrying her.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm with Jacob. I would take the date with Daisy Ridley.
Yeah.
I had this conversation with my
actor,
buddy.
but that would be awesome to be in the movie. But.
Yeah, that would be great. So, all right, well, that's going to wrap up the Padawan Podcast today. I'd like to thank the boys for joining me again today. Gio, let them know where they can find you online, man.
You guys can find me on Twitter at GioRamos24. Check out apocalypsemovies.com. I'm getting tired, and when I get tired, I bash movies. So next up is Doctor Strange review.
What? Man. Jacob?
You can find me in my car listening to my next audiobook next month. I don't know which one I should do next. I'm guessing. Oh, actually, there's one. I forget the name of it, but it's coming out really soon, and it's like it's leading up to the events of Rogue One. That's gonna have to be my next one. It's I forget the name of it, but it's coming out. It comes out this month.
Okay.
And
We'll check that out.
Yeah, it's kind of not. I don't want to say a prequel to Rogue One, but it's like it's leading up. It's the events leading up to Rogue One, so that'll have to be my next one. So I'm not gonna have that up by next Padawan, but probably 2 Padawans from now, I'll like start reviewing
It's
that.
a prequel to Rogue One?
It's the events leading up to it. But anyways, you can find me on Twitter at Jacob Bartley _ and on this YouTube channel.
All right. Yeah, you can find me, Jake Berlin, at Twitter, Instagram at Qui Gonn Jake, apocalypsemovies.com every day. Check out everything we got going on the YouTube channel, movie news, Padawan Podcast, reviews. We're trying to do big things here. And until next time, may the Force be with you.